Today, we're ranking the top 15 power forwards in NBA history.
I've been waiting for this one. I can already go out and say I have the best list.
If you're not plugged into the Discord, which you should be, link in the description, you don't know yet, but you should, that this whole series really started because Cam said Pascal Siakam was a top 15 power forward, not in the league, of all time. So
all time.
So that was just a take that he had. This is like, it's time to nuts on the table if he actually went through all of history and came back with that decision. Because I can tell you, I have bare minimum 20 above him.
As do I.
I'm glad you guys do.
All right, here we go, bro. Here we go.
I'm glad you guys do. I'm glad.
We know Cam's 15.
There's just no rationalization where he could be... Okay, you know what, Zach? Let's save it. Let's leave it in suspense for a second here. Why don't you start with your number 15?
All right, man. It's time to get controversial.
In what world could we get controversial already?
No, I'm just kidding. I really wanted to say some dumb shit, but I'm not. Before we get to 15, I do have an honorable mention, and it's not Pascal Siakam because he's nowhere near this list. Also, I am thinking of a guy as well that I did leave off this list that potentially could be on your guys' list, but. We'll get to that point in a second.
Is it as bad as leaving John Havlicek off the list?
No.
Oh,
okay. No.
All right.
No, it's not as bad as leaving an 8-time NBA champion.
You're about to get fried for that. We're recording this the day that we're about to post the small forward video. I already know you're gonna get fried. The Discord has been frying you.
Johnny Boy does not move me. I already told you this.
Kind of on that same wavelength of a John Havlicek at my number 15. It is an old head, and this is why he is low. He's probably higher on some other people's lists, mainly the community Arman hangs out with. And we know for a fact that he is higher on ChatGPT's list at number 15. I do have Dolph Shays.
I've been excluding all of the 40s dudes and the black and white picture dudes, so I don't have them on the list, but I respect you for doing it. That's funny. I like that. Sixth greatest player of all time according to ChatGPT, so you got to put some respect on his name. Not even sixth best power forward, sixth best player of all time.
You know, he did something in his heyday, I guess. And ChatGPT loves Dolph Shays.
I don't know what their calculation is. Personally, my calculation is if your picture on Basketball Reference is not in color, you're not on my list. So he's not on the list, but I respect you for doing it. I do think I might still have him over Pascal Siakam, though. So, you know, I understand.
I do for sure.
I understand it.
For sure is over Pascal.
If you put Dolph Shays on this list, I also think you might put another extreme old head on the list. But again, I've been sticking true to it, and this might get me in some hot water too. But I did not even put Bob Pettit on the list. For that same reason. I'm sticking to it.
Okay.
I know by pure stats, he definitely should be. I'm not doing it. But you can have him at honorable mention number 16 because he is over Pascal Siakam too. Number 15, I actually do think you guys are going to have a problem with this one. I think you guys are going to think this is too low for this, especially Cam, because this guy is near and dear to his heart. But Chris Bosh is number 15.
No. No.
What argument do you have for me? No is not an argument. You can give me an argument.
Two-time NBA champion, one of the best power forwards in the league, offensively and defensively, was a great player as well. And you're telling me there's 14 power forwards in the entire history of the National Basketball Association that are better than Chris Bosh. You are out of your ever-loving mind.
The Toronto Raptors years, he put up some great stats, but the Raptors were never good, and that's part of the reason why he put up so many points in those seasons was because there was just nobody else on the team, and somebody had to score the points. But he didn't do it extremely efficiently, and then, of course, he gets more efficient when he goes to Miami, but he's clearly the third best player. Part of that was fit issues with LeBron and Dwayne Wade. I understand the points go down, and I'm not saying that he wasn't a big part of those teams, because he was. But he dealt with some health concerns when he was on the Heat that took away from part of his prime, and I don't respect as much the Toronto years because they didn't really have any tangible success, even regular season really, but especially into the playoffs. I just think there are 14 players at the power forward position that I would much rather have that had more impact throughout history.
If I'm not mistaken, I can recall an earlier conversation we've had about Chris Bosh, and word for word, Arman, your words were, I think they would call it a big three if he wasn't really like that.
He was like that. Yeah, he was like that. He's a top 15 power forward of all time. I have him over some guys that are incredibly impactful.
Weakest top 15 list. You can't be like that at 15.
Maybe your guys' definition of like that is different than my definition of like that. I would say 25 power forwards in history are like that. I do think there are 14 power forwards I would definitely have over him.
If Pau Gasol is on this list, I'm going to blow up again.
Of course, Pau Gasol is on this list? What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, no shit, Pau Gasol is on this list.
You're drunk, Arman.
Are you trying to tell me you have...
Delirium. It's delirium. You're tired.
You lost me. You lost me. You had me, then you lost me, Cam.
Brother, what are you talking about? Are you trying to tell me Chris Bosh is above Pau Gasol? You're so insane,
yes,
bro.
He is.
No,
yes, he is.
This has gone to a complete extreme I didn't expect. Somehow now you are the biggest homer of your team, above the biggest D-Book Glazer on the planet. This is the most insane thing. I would prefer Zach's ranking of Devin Booker at 13 to you having Chris Bosh above Pau Gasol.
Love that for you.
His take is more reasonable than that.
Okay.
First off, why am I catching strays for having for liking Devin Booker in his game?
You can like his game. He shouldn't be a top 13 shooting guard of all time.
He's the top 13 shooting guard, but we're not doing that list. We're doing power forwards. So back to the conversation at hand. Cameron, you had me. I don't think Chris Bosh should be at 15, and then you lost me with the Pau. Yes, Pau Gasol. Now, these are two names that will be said. I don't think it's a crazy gap, but I do think Pau Gasol.
I think it's a crazy gap. I'm not even joking. I think it's a crazy gap.
Not a crazy gap.
It is a crazy gap.
Honestly, their career paths to me, it's pretty similar. They had the chance to be the number one guy, and then they got traded to teams where they became lesser options, and their numbers went down. They had pretty that's why I say it's not a crazy gap.
But they didn't though, because they had a same trajectory, sure, except Pau Gasol was the number 2 option instead of the number 3 option. And both of those stages of their careers, Pau Gasol's was much longer. The Memphis tenure, where he is the number 1 guy in Memphis on a bad team, was a lot longer of a stretch than Chris Bosh's run in Toronto. And then he gets to the Lakers, where he becomes a much more of an efficient player. That stretch is also a longer time than Bosh's peak in Miami. And on top of that, Bosh's tenure, unfortunately, again, extremely unfortunately, comes to an end in Miami sooner than it should have.
So is Chris Bosh's fault he had blood clots? Is that what we're...
Are we just not taking into consideration what their actual career was? I told you
I'm looking at what their career was.
Okay, actually, I told you it's unfortunately
comparable.
They're not, because again, like I said, his career was much longer. I did not blame, for the same reason I did not blame Kawhi for having the injuries. I'm never blaming a player for getting hurt. That's an insane takeaway from what I'm saying, that that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I'm basing it off of what their actual career is. And Pau Gasol's was just longer at a similar peak, and I think even higher. Pau Gasol's Lakers tenure lasted longer, on top of which he even goes to Chicago and then San Antonio, where he is still a good player. He's an all-star level player, even in Chicago.
That's so awesome, man. Chris Bosh is still better.
He's not,
let me tell
not
you,
even close.
And you talk about him being you talk about him being a second option. Well, if you look at their career stats, Chris Bosh and Pau Gasol dang near have the exact same stats. Plus, Chris Bosh is a much better defender. He could switch onto guards. He could guard.
He is not a much better defender.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Who do you think Pau Gasol was? Pau Gasol was a rim protector.
He was okay. I wouldn't go as far to say he was
Chris
like
Bosh
an elite rim
could guard
protector.
big men, and he could guard in space. Pau Gasol could never guard in space. You could never tell me he could guard in space. And on top of that, Chris Bosh was a much better three-point shooter. Pau Gasol didn't get a shot until the very end of his career. Chris Bosh has always had a strap.
Literally, until his last 3 years of his career, Chris Bosh never shot more than one three-pointer a game. So don't tell me he always had a strap when he's not shooting more than one three-pointer in a game.
Pau shoot from three? 25%, 17%.
Literally,
0%.
what does it matter when you're trying to... I'm not even bringing up Pau Gasol three-pointer versus three-pointer. You're arguing Chris Bosh was an elite...
You're right.
Okay, but you're arguing that Chris Bosh was an elite three-point shooter when he shot one... Can I finish my goddamn sentence before you cut me off? You do this every time.
Because you're saying something that isn't true.
I'm literally reading the stat page as it is. Chris Bosh shot one three-pointer or less his entire career until his last 3 years of his career. So unless you're arguing that's peak Chris Bosh.
I said he's a better shooter. I said he's a better shooter.
You said three-point shooter. I can run the tape back. You said three-point shooter.
Chris Bosh was a much better three-point shooter. He is a better three-point shooter, but I'm arguing he's a better shooter all around.
That's his game. That wasn't Pau Gasol's game.
Chris Bosh is better. But anyway, I'd love to get to my number 15 finally and be able to say what I was going to say.
I would just like to actually go off of what their actual stats were, and then rather than you just coming up with statistics that you wish were true but are not. You said he was a great three-point shooter, and he's not.
35%. 40%, 36%.
Off of one three-pointer a game for most of his career. He didn't develop that until his last 3 years of his career. So unless you're saying that's peak Chris Bosh, that doesn't apply.
He could always hit him. That's my point.
You're speaking nonsense.
He could always hit him.
You're speaking nonsense because it doesn't apply because that wasn't even his prime.
Facts. I'm speaking facts.
I understand you wish that were the case, but it's not.
I'm looking at them. I have them up right now, actually, as we speak.
So then you're seeing what I'm seeing. Also, by the way, at peak, Pau Gasol had more defensive win shares per year than Chris Bosh did. But this is what he loves to do when he doesn't have an argument, by the way.
Go watch them both play defense and tell me who's a better defender.
You're picturing what you want it in your mind. I'm going off of what the actual advanced stats say. So you trust who you want to in that argument.
Constantly shared the court with Kobe Bryant, who was an all-defensive candidate like every year.
This dude's trying to say he constantly shared the court with Kobe Bryant. That's the reason. And LeBron James, Dwayne Wade acting like they're horrible defenders.
No, I'm not acting like that.
Won their first championship without Ron Artest, by the way.
Perimeter defenders in front of him.
Won their first championship without Ron Artest. Again, what he loves to do when he doesn't have an argument.
Let's move on because we're wasting time, and I haven't even said my 15.
Again, what he loves to do when he's going out on an argument. Just try to move on.
I'd love to finish what I'm saying, Arman. Can you not interrupt me, please? Thank you. At number 15, I have Pascal Siakam, baby. Pascal Siakam. Spicy P is getting hot in here.
You're off to a horrible start this episode,
Let's go.
You're off to a horrible start.
Yes, sir.
I don't even know where to begin of why I have to defend Pascal Siakam not being a top 15 power forward of all time. I don't even all I can say is no, he's not. And that's just it's clear as day.
I have bare minimum. I was being generous. I have bare minimum 23 above him all time.
I'm glad you do.
Easily. Don't. I have Bob Pettit. I have Blake Griffin. Obviously, all the top 15. But I have. I don't want to spoil who I don't have on the list.
You're gonna put.
Okay, I'm glad you said that name. I'm glad you said the name Blake Griffin. Oh, that was the name that I was thinking of when I was like, probably should be on this list. And isn't.
In my mind, I felt like he was going to be, but I can't go off of that short of a peak when
I know.
It's like that. If it was like Kawhi level peak, I could definitely put him in there. But it's like it was that short of a prime, but also the prime was like borderline top 10 player in the league for that time, So
I think Blake's best year was honestly Detroit. Was his best season,
I mean,
which is crazy.
Statistically probably, yes. Statistically, definitely. Do I really believe that? Not really, but
Blake was hooping.
He was great. Don't get me wrong. That year was crazy. He developed his game and changed it a lot for that. So I'll give him that for sure. A Siakam 15.
No,
horrible.
It's not.
What's the defense here, Kim?
Spicy P is a phenomenal player. He has one of the toughest rings in NBA history.
No, he does not.
No, he doesn't.
No, he does not.
Honestly,
one of the toughest rings.
Let's stop that narrative straight up because Dead ass, that team was incredibly deep. I hate that narrative that the Raptors ring was like that hard. It was a legendary ring for beating the Warriors, but the Warriors also got hurt. Let's not act like that team did not have Kawhi, of course Pascal, but also Fred VanVleet. It had OG Anunoby. It was deep. Danny Green, veterans, Kyle Lowry. It had, who was their center? Marc Gasol, right? That team was deep.
First of all, Kawhi Leonard traveled. Game 7 against Philly. Traveled. They call that Pascal Siakam does not have a ring. Great series against Philly. Kawhi hit a big shot. Again, not Pascal Siakam. And they beat a depleted Warriors team. If healthy, Warriors stomp on them.
I guess we'll never know.
He's doing the troll voice, so I already know he's rage baiting.
Come on, bro.
I respect you going.
It's rage bait.
I respect you committing to the bit, so I appreciate it. But it's not close.
Great shooter, defender, passer. I mean, whatever you need, he's got it, man.
Inconsistently,
so is everybody else that's above him.
Blake Griffin's a great shooter.
Or is he tail end of his career? Absolutely.
No.
Are you trying to argue Pascal Siakam had a higher
Arman,
peak than Blake Griffin?
Count, so he was never a shooter. If it's towards the end of your career, it never happened.
But when Chris Bosh does it, then it happened.
You're trying to define a player as a great three-point shooter for his career, for something he did for his last 3 years of his career. I would not define Blake Griffin as a great shooter, so my logic does apply.
Me neither, but he did develop a jump shot towards the tail end of his career.
Don't tell me you actually think Pascal's peak is equivalent to Blake, though.
No, because Blake is above him.
I'm interested. That's two names. That's two names that both of us don't think should be on here. I'm really wondering who got left off.
I have a feeling it's the Dolph Shays of the world, which is fine.
No, like I said though. No, because like I said, I don't have Dolph Shays on the list either. I don't have Bob Pettit on the list either, so it's got to be somebody.
What about Cliff Hagan?
No, I don't have Cliff. Do you think I'm gonna put Cliff Hagan if I don't have Bob Pettit? Be serious, bro.
Now I feel like the old head homer here because I really thought we were gonna get these names. At number 14, I do have Bob Pettit.
Honestly, that's fair.
Like old head homer.
I don't blame you.
Now.
I just at the start of the list, I would have had Bob Pettit on the list, but like I said, at the start of when we made this series, I committed to the bit that I was not going to have any players whose picture on Basketball Reference was black and white. That's really all it is.
Well, I actually lied. I don't have him at 14.
What?
I have him higher than 14.
Oh, okay. All right. So who's your 14 then?
If you're an old head, you really don't get that much respect from me, but you do get your name on the list. At number 14, I do have Larry Bird's running mate, Kevin McHale.
Oh, no.
What?
Kevin McHale was an incredibly efficient player, was definitely the second best player. Okay, don't start with me when you're putting guys who are second best players, third best players, sometimes fourth best players on dynasties incredibly high and elevating them on these lists. When Kevin McHale was a legitimately much better player than some of the guys you try to make that argument for, a good defender, an incredible efficiently offensive player on a dynasty team.
It's almost like we're talking about Chris Bosh. That's crazy.
This is not. You guys are pissing. You guys designed your list to piss me off. I swear to God,
I really didn't.
Decided that way. It's just a great byproduct.
Cam, do you have Chris Bosh over Kevin McHale too?
We have to wait and see my list.
Oh my God, dude.
We have to wait and see my list. I can't give you everything. What do you think this is? What are we doing this video for if I tell you my whole list? Come on now.
Kevin McHale was great. He was a good defender. Won All-NBA first team, that's a good accolade. Defense was his staple. He was an efficient scorer. Just didn't do it at the highest levels possible.
Brother, 6-time all defense.
He was a great defender.
If you're going to value Klay Thompson's 1-time defensive team, 6-time all defense, okay? In an era where you at the very least you respect some of those defenders. 1 all NBA team, sure. Again, Klay Thompson, 1 all NBA team. So don't start with me there. And also had a season where he averaged 26 and finished 4th in MVP voting. So don't tell me the peaks aren't equivalent. You guys are designed your list. You colluded to piss me off.
No collusion involved. Kevin McHale was good. He's at 14, and you're gonna say that's disrespect. That's not disrespect. He's on the list.
If you're telling me I had Kobe at 14, that's not disrespect. Oh, he's on the list.
A clear cut.
Oh, he's on the list though. It's not disrespect. He's on the list.
We're comparing Kevin McHale to Kobe Bryant right now. That's what you're doing. I know what you're trying to do, but just realize the player you picked was Kobe Bryant. Clear-cut top 10 player in the NBA.
Brother, I have a Kobe poster behind me. This is not like...
I know you do.
Obviously, I respect Kobe. I love Kobe. But this is why I made the argument, because your argument is essentially just... Well, they're on the list. It doesn't matter where I put them. That's not disrespect as long as they're on the list. It's disrespect based on who you put above them. Kevin McHale is a multiple-time champion, one of the best defenders of his era, and was the second best player on a dynasty team while being one of the most efficient players, not just of that era, but really of all time on the offensive side of the ball. I'm not saying that his role was equivalent of some of the top guys. Number 14 is absurd.
It's not absurd. First off, it's not absurd.
It's not absurd. Why do you guys make me be the Celtics defender? I swear to God, you guys want me to be like portrayed as a Celtic fan. I want to be a Celtic hater. I'm a Lakers fan, but you guys do this to me every time.
Hey man, just agree, and that won't be a problem.
I wish I could agree with stupidness, but sorry. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't agree with foolishness. It's just not in my DNA. I'm sorry.
And at my number 14.
Okay, well, I was gonna transition because I already know Zach has this guy higher. Similar role on teams, except he was the third best player, sometimes fourth best player. And if you're gonna try and tell me that this dude had the same impact as Kevin McHale, you're out your mind. So you know what? I'm gonna piss you off in my number 14, Draymond Green, number 14.
Oh my God!
Don't even start with me. That's not close. Kevin McHale was as good of a defender, much better on the offensive side of the ball.
He was 6-time on defense, and he was never the defensive player of the year. Was never once the best defender in the NBA. Not one time.
Draymond Green has been one time. You're telling me that one time is a differential versus being considered a top 5 defender in the league for 6 years?
Being the best defender in the NBA? Of course. For sure. And Draymond has what? 4 first-team all-defenses?
One defensive player of the year. So don't say best defensive player in the league. I don't think you could... Okay. No, you, because you're a hater, I do think you would say, oh, he was a better defender than Anthony Davis in all of those years. But even if you think Draymond Green is a better defender, because I do think that's an argument. I'm not saying that's not even an argument. That is an argument. Because I, to a certain extent, marginally agree. But Kevin McHale, it's not even close, the offensive impact Kevin McHale had and Draymond Green had. Not even close. And the other thing I believe about it, if you put Draymond Green on another team versus putting Kevin McHale on another team, I trust Kevin McHale to actually have a winning impact on a different team than I trust Draymond Green when he's not alongside Steph Curry.
They're running a pace and space offense. They're running a 3-point oriented offense to get their shooters open. Draymond Green didn't have the same offensive capabilities. They're in a completely different scheme. It's not catered to his game. Draymond is the point guard essentially in that offense.
I know. So that's what I'm saying is if I'm evaluating his talent, his actual ability, I don't trust him as much as I trust Kevin McHale going into a random different offense versus a Draymond Green trying to plug him into an offense that does not specifically have Steph Curry on it. I think his game is perfectly designed to play with Steph Curry, which I value along with his defense in the fact that I put him on the list. I put him on the list for that reason because I value that, but that does not make him better than Kevin McHale.
Draymond Green was good for like a couple years, and then he was Mr. Triple Single Man. You know, he wasn't really putting up any real substantial stats.
He's still good.
So I think that off.
He's still
good. He is. I'm just saying. He only averaged double figures for like 4 years of his career.
Well, yeah.
He's not an offensive-oriented player. Again.
I'm not holding that against him. I can't see how the defense could carry him so high as to be over.
That's what I'm trying to say, though. Like, if he averaged 17, 18 his entire career, this would be a much different conversation.
Draymond Green not only was the best defender on his team, similar to Kevin McHale, he's the best defender in the NBA on a team that went on to win 4 NBA titles. Now you're going to say, oh, they both had dynasties, which is great.
What about Dennis Rodman then? He should be better than Kevin McHale then, right?
Wait to hear his name.
Oh, my.
I'm confused as to what this means. Cam's sending me mixed signals here. Part of me is concerned he left Rodman off the list, but...
At number 14. Number 14. It's Blake Griffin. I'm just going to keep it Short and sweet.
Who the hell did he leave off this list?
I'm telling you, he might have dead ass left Pau Gasol and Dennis Rodman off this list.
Who the hell did he leave off this list, bro?
I'm telling you, he might have left both of them off. I'm not even gonna say it's bad because it's like I had him as an honorable mention. I considered him, but there's just guys that we've had conversations about already that I would definitely take over Blake Griffin's short peak.
He moved like a guard, but was the size of a freight train. He had some serious impact on that Clippers team. They just never got it done. I think if they did, he would be a lock for all of you guys. But in terms of ability and who he was as an individual player, I don't think any of you would argue that he doesn't deserve to be in the same air as these guys.
I'm not even mad at it for now. I have a feeling once we find out who he left off, I'm going to be mad at it. So we'll have to come back to this.
Yes, we will.
Let me go with number 13 first, because I already know it's going to piss some people off. But if you give me a second to explain, I think it'll be very reasonable. At number 13, specifically for how much I know this man makes love to the number 13, Karl Malone is at number 13 for me. Again, I feel like obviously his talent says he's above, but I just know as much as he loves the number 13, impregnates the number 13, I had to put him at number 13.
No.
Are you a Karl Malone defender?
There isn't. Okay, first off, not his off the floor actions. There are not 12 better power forwards.
Obviously.
Than Karl Malone.
Obviously, that's not what I'm saying. I had to put him at number 13 because of how much he loves the number 13.
Not.
I did.
Oh, okay. But when I do it, it's a problem, and it's no properly rate them. But when you do it, it's cool.
For a man that impregnated yeah, I would say so. I can make that exception.
I understand.
I can make that exception.
I understand. I'm not defending Karl Malone, his off the floor actions. Now the mailman. That's a different story. I'm defending the mailman. I'm not defending Karl Malone.
Yep.
Wow.
I'm defending the mailman.
Wow. I'm going to cut it off before. I'm defending the mailman.
I'm defending the mailman.
They got your ass on camera. How did they get you in 4K?
Not Karl Malone. Karl Malone is a disgusting human being. The mailman is one of the best to ever touch a basketball. I'm defending the mailman.
It's not disrespect. He's at number 13. It's not disrespect. He's at number 13.
Here we go. Okay. But these are also players that are clear-cut top 5 in their position.
Obviously, his talent level says he's above it. I'm putting him at number 13 because he loves the number 13. You guys are taking this way too serious.
I see what you did there, but you ruined your list. I see what you did there, but you ruined your list.
I was just hoping to get a laugh out of you guys. You guys took this way too serious.
Nah, man, I can't laugh, man. This one hits.
It hits home. That Karl Malone's real near and dear to your heart.
Are you? Yeah. Did you have some experience with Karl?
No.
Is that your man's?
No.
Is that?
I didn't say hits home. I just said it hits.
Home is what you said.
Yeah.
I understand the play on 13. I see what you did there. I'll give you a laugh. Ha 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 ha. That was good. I like that one. But you ruined your list. No.
I'm just like Patrick Beverly, man. I'm just like.
Yeah, well, Patrick Beverly found out that information and didn't draft him.
But what about his off the court stuff? You know, does that factor in at all?
I really don't know a lot of off the court stuff about Karl.
He got a 13-year-old pregnant.
Was he 16?
He was 20.
Yeah, I ain't drafted him.
You guys are the opposite. You guys find this information out, and you're still gonna have him number 2 probably. Go ahead if you wanna have that dude at the top 5 of your list. That's cool, man. I don't want that man in my top 10.
Why is he making this argument, man? This is not a basketball argument, bro.
Obviously, I preface this with saying it's not a basketball argument. If you want to listen to me, I'm telling you, his talent says he's obviously a top 5 power forward of all time. I'm putting him at number 13 because he loves the number 13.
Okay, I get it.
And if you don't get this, look up Karl Malone 13 and you'll understand.
Karl Malone 13 is going to be at the bottom of my search bar now. Look what you just did.
Hey, I'm happy with that. Go ahead, man. Karl Malone's probably real happy about that. So.
Oh my gosh.
You guys took that way too serious.
Because I didn't think we were actually going to do a Karl Malone rip this early into the video.
I mean, you should always expect Karl Malone and 13 to be together. So.
All right. Okay.
You should always expect Karl Malone to be inside the 13 slot.
Moving on so that we can try to avoid cancel culture and keep our podcast alive.
How is
At
making
number
fun
13.
of Karl Malone going to cancel us? That's the opposite. You guys defending Karl Malone is going to cancel us.
I'm not defending him. I'm defending the mailman. We're gonna get flagged, and our TikTok is gonna be like Cameron's Instagram. Gone. Be gone.
Whoa, okay, all right.
The funniest part about that, because Cam's Instagram did get flagged and banned. The funniest thing about that, it is actually connected to Worst Take. He posted in a group chat, not even publicly, in a personal group chat, the picture of him with, and you know, this relates very much to Karl Malone. The picture is a screenshot of the video where I have Chris Hansen coming in on Cam's doorway. I don't even remember what he said, but he said something very sus, and I had Chris Hansen come through.
Oh, you made a joke, and I repeated it because I didn't understand what you were saying, and then you said, Chris Hansen.
It was the
J.O. the Kid.
Oh,
J.O. the Kid. Yes.
Jermaine O'Neal's first nickname is J.O.
Yeah.
Bro.
I saw that coming.
The second one is The Kid. Don't say those two together, all right?
J.O. the Kid.
I'm Chris Hansen. Why don't you have a seat right over here for me?
And I was like, J.O. the Kid.
J.O. the Kid?
Karl Malone definitely wanted to J.O. the... All right, Cam, go ahead.
13, Draymond Green, man. Draymond Green.
I approve of that rating. That's fine.
Draymond Green at 13.
Oh, no.
How high do you have this dude?
I must be thinking of a different Draymond Green than Zach. I don't know.
It's not far away, but no.
I just don't understand the visceral reaction to Draymond being a top 14 or top 13 power forward of all time.
I had a feeling that I was going to have Draymond Green ranked the highest.
Obviously.
Based off of our shooting guard list. He would not be as high as Klay Thompson was, if that makes you guys feel better. But I do not have him here at 13. At number 13, I do have Elvin Hayes. I think he was a better scorer than Mikal. I think Mikal is a better defender. But if you want to talk about numbers, Elvin Hayes was also a 6-time All-NBA player to Mikal's 1.
I have Mikal over Elvin Hayes, but I'm not even like so irritated about that. Both of these guys should be higher. That's my problem with it, is that they're both definitely too low. I would definitely take Mikal though, just because Elvin Hayes, maybe I'm too far into advanced stats and all of that, but his efficiency was horrible. His turnover rate was very high. His box score plus minus, where if you're going to value like Draymond's box score plus minus, Draymond's is very high. Elvin Hayes' impact, like in hindsight, really wasn't that high.
Mikal was a better defender. Elvin Hayes is also, if I'm not mistaken, an NBA champion. 1 to 3, so I will give Mikal the nod in that one. But Elvin Hayes was also a 2-time all-defensive team. To Mikal 6, it wasn't at the same level, but like he wasn't a scrub. He was also a scoring leader, and he was also a rebounding leader. He's also a champion. So that's why I have him just slightly above Kevin McHale.
I would not have him over McHale, but they're both too low. That's really the big issue, is that they're both too low. But I've already come to accept you're just gonna, anybody from the 80s or before, you're gonna rank them like 4 spots lower than they should be. I've come to terms with it at this point.
I mean, we're 4 videos in, bro. We're four positions in. At this point, it's not a surprise anymore.
Zach, why don't you just go ahead and disrespect another old head, number 12, because I already know you're gonna do it. Just go ahead. Let's get it out the way. Rip the Band-Aid off.
It's actually somebody you don't even have on your list, and I understand. Like you said, you stuck to your roots. No black and whites, but I mean the numbers speak for themselves. Now, as I've said before, there really wasn't talent back then, but he was the best. And Arman, your whole thing is you have to adjust for the era, so I'm adjusting for the era, which is why he made the list for me. At number 12, I do have Bob Pettit.
Again, I have no problem with it. Like I said, I committed to the bid. He probably would have been somewhere around here for me too.
At my number 12, we've had some arguments about this guy, but he finally shows up on the list. We'll see how y'all feel about it, but my number 12 is Pau Gasol.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It is.
Oh,
It's not.
come on,
It
man.
is.
Stop.
As soon
It
as he
is.
started talking, I knew Pau Gasol was coming out of his mouth.
Oh, my God,
Oh,
dude.
my
It is.
God. Oh, he left some dudes
It
off
is.
this list, Armand.
Oh,
There's
I
some guys
know.
that-
Oh, I know. I was, for
It
a
is.
second there, I was thinking he was going to say Chris Bosh, and I was going to go ballistic thinking Pau Gasol was left off the list completely. So my visceral reaction has been toned down a little bit, but it's been Draymond, it's been Blake, and then who is number 15? Siakam. There's some dudes left off. I don't know who. I have a feeling I know one of them. I have a feeling my number 11 got left off. But Pau Gasol is not this low. That's crazy to me.
No.
He is.
We already had discussions about it, how he's definitely better than Chris Bosh. Longevity was much higher than Chris Bosh. Peak impact was higher than Chris Bosh. You want to talk about win shares, value above replacement player. Any advanced stat says Pau Gasol was better. Just as good, if not better, at peak defensively. I don't think it's close.
It is close. It's not.
It is
It's not
very
far
close because Chris Bosh is better.
He's a Miami fan, so
not.
he's like, this is... I really did not think he would be this much of a homer for him.
It's much of a homer. You act like I put him at 3.
It's too high. It's already too high.
It is close. It's not a crazy gap, but I do not think Chris Bosh is better than Pau Gasol.
Number 12 for me. And again, Zach, I know you value your dynasty guys. If they were on a team with a top 10 player of all time and they won championships, they're going to be top 7 for you. But I just don't value it that to that level. And especially I don't value being great at one thing to that level. Dennis Rodman is here at number 12 for me.
I mean, he was the greatness was rebounding. Mm-hmm. He was also a phenomenal perimeter defender. He was a phenomenal defender.
Look, that is true. I shouldn't have said one thing. He was great at those two things. Offensively, there were a lot of limitations, very turnover prone. And to me, I just think that a lot of the offensive flaws got covered up because of the fact that he just got to focus on rebounding. Because if you want to talk about all-time teammate merchant, he's up there with Robert Horry, dude. I mean, you talk about prime...
He had a bigger impact than Robert Horry.
But I'm saying just teammate merchant. Obviously, he had a bigger impact than Robert Horry. But if I'm just talking teammate merchant, you look at the resume of guys he played with, prime Isaiah, prime Joe Dumars, prime David Robinson, prime Michael Jordan, prime Scottie Pippen, and that's not even considering the Lakers year, because by then Dennis Rodman's not in his prime, but Shaq and Kobe in their prime too. Like the resume of like the guys he got to play next to and not have those offensive lapses be exploited.
But he could score. Like his college tapes, I'm not saying, listen, I'm not saying in the NBA.
I mean, Tony Allen was a scorer in college too, though. I'm saying these guys actually adapt and they play a role to perfection, which is why Dennis Rodman was able to do what he did. Could he have become a great scorer in the NBA? Probably not, but he could have had a lot more impact offensively than he did. But like I said, he's a phenomenal defender, the greatest rebounder to ever play the game. And also, I'd be scared of Michael Jordan too. I'm not shooting the ball with him on my team. He's an awful teammate. That's why he's not the GOAT. He's a horrible teammate who does not want anybody else to shoot the ball. If it was up to him, Paxson wouldn't have a career. Steve Kerr wouldn't have had a career because he would have taken all the damn shots. Jordan went out of his way to get Rodman, knowing the impact that he could have. I don't hate it. I don't have him much lower, but I don't know who's going to be above him.
Can I also just say, it really was not that hard to be a scorer in college when he went to college at Southeastern Oklahoma State University. So I don't know how much that translates to the NBA, really. But
like I said, he could score the ball. What do you average in college? 25, 26?
I can't even find the stats, honestly. Yeah, 26 and 15. Again, like I said, at what I'm assuming is Division II or Division III school.
Yeah, but he came from the slums to a 5-time NBA champion. He was an all-time defender. He was an all-time rebounder. He's a 5-time NBA champion.
And that's why I have him at number 12. That's why I have him on this list, even though he wasn't a scorer.
I'm not mad at that at all.
And I understand if you have him higher. I just don't value role players as much as you do on these dynasty teams. If I'm building a team and if I'm trying to say that this is a top 15 player at this position, I want you, if I'm taking you in, putting you on a team, I want to be able to trust you in some capacity to do it, not just in a particular specific system.
Dennis Rodman's a plug and play anywhere.
He
doesn't take up much space offensively.
What I'm saying is he can't be the best player on your team. And for most of his career, he wasn't even the second best player on his team. That's why I just have him lower than guys that I would trust to be my number 2 or even number 1 player.
Yeah, I think that's a fair argument.
Well, that makes me feel better about my list. We'll get to why I feel better about it because we're still a couple slots away from the infamous number 10 slot on Zach's top 15s that have been drastic on all of these lists. That has been the spark of controversy, but we're not there yet. We're at 11. At number 11, I do have Draymond Green. Like I said, I didn't think I wasn't mad at 13 and 14 or wherever you had him at. I didn't have him much higher, but I think we all knew coming into it. I for certainly knew that I was going to have Draymond Green the highest. I was scared you guys were going to leave him off the list. I really was.
Honestly, this isn't even a bad rank. Above Kevin McHale is very bad. The rank, it's not that bad. Above Kevin McHale is horrible.
I mean, we talked about it already with McHale. McHale was a better offensive threat. Defensively, I think Draymond is a better defender.
Like I said, that's an argument, and I would even marginally agree with you. But the gap there is nowhere close to the gap offensively. At Kevin McHale's peak, he's averaging 3 times what Draymond is in most of his seasons.
I know. We found out, Cam found out the hard way that Draymond Green doesn't have, 7,000 career points.
Well, he does now because that was a year ago. But yeah, that was.
Cam found out the hard way that Draymond Green is not a scorer.
Matter of fact, I should have left him off this list for that bullshit, man.
You left some dudes off this list, so you should have.
I had
you did.
so much confidence in that man that he could have gotten 7,000 points. And he gravely disappointed me.
That's one of my favorite moments in Worst Take history. I love that moment. That was
Mine
awesome.
too.
You talk about a teammate merchant, man. Draymond Green is he's a Curry merchant.
He is a bit of a Curry merchant.
He's a Curry merchant.
If he plays alongside like Steph Curry, Reggie Miller, he's good. But like outside of that, I would be concerned. But I'm telling you, if Draymond Green is on those Pacers back in the day, I think they win a championship. So the impact is there.
I agree.
That would have been like the perfect Reggie Miller teammate. Would have been Draymond Green.
I agree. Well,
Reggie Miller's an off-ball player. That's exactly what he needed, was a player, a point forward like Draymond that could also defend. That would have been perfect.
I think that's what they wanted Jermaine to be. But Jermaine was just, I mean, you can't not let him go score the basketball.
Yeah. He also just got there too late. Like Reggie's prime was 90s. Jermaine was like early 2000s. Reggie was older by then.
That Malice in the Palace year, I think Indy goes on to win it if all of that shit doesn't happen. They had the team, man.
Yeah. And in that case, Jermaine would have been on this list. Unfortunately, he does not make it. Although I do still have him over Pascal Siakam.
Nah.
Yes.
Nah.
100%.
Nah.
Cameron doesn't even believe that. He just looked at all the players and was like, damn. That's why he has Pascal at 15, by the way. It's just so he can sit there and say, I told you he's a top 15. Damn, Draymond's highest points per game was 14.
That's what I'm talking about, offensive difference.
That's higher than I would have given him credit for. I thought his career high. I thought his highest points per game was like 9.3.
Oh my God.
He's actually scoring 14 a game. That's
One
actually
season.
Let me take Draymond out. I'm pushing Draymond.
No, you're
Scratch
not.
Draymond
It's
for
locked
11.
in. No, it's locked in. Stop.
Lock Draymond in at 6. Pump Draymond up to 6.
No. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. Cam, you go ahead, because I'm wondering if you left my number 11 off, or if maybe he's here. So I want to see who your number 11 is first.
I didn't leave your number 11 off, probably.
You left somebody off, because
somebody is not on this list.
There's a name in my top 11 that you left off, so it better.
Who'd you say at 11?
I haven't said it yet. That's why I'm wondering who you have.
At my number 11, it's Chris Bosh. It is close, but
it's really not even close.
Do you know what his name is? The dinosaur. That's the dinosaur, man.
Is that your only argument? His nickname is kind of cool because he looks like a dinosaur?
Hey, man, it's a part of it. It's a small part of it.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a small part of it.
That's a good start to your argument. The peaks, you could maybe argue they're similar. I really don't think they are, even if statistically Chris Bosh had more points per game. Those were worse teams, and somebody had to put up the points. I don't necessarily respect that. And look, I respect him being a part of 2 championships, but I just think Pau Gasol had more of an impact and had a much longer career. That's really the thing that separates them.
Can't you say that because they essentially achieved pretty much the same things, and Chris Bosh did it in a shorter time frame? Now, he did kind of have a little bit of a fall off towards the end of his career because he was dealing with the blood clots. They pretty much accomplished the same thing in their careers.
If we're just talking pure accolades, sure, I guess. But if we're talking about taking the body of work of their entire careers, I just don't think that necessarily applies unless the peak. Because I'm going to have a player where that is the case later on. I have him higher up on this list, where the peak was just higher. And so even if the career was shorter, I respect the peak more. But the peaks were similar, I still think Pau Gasol's peak was higher than Chris Bosh's. But even if you think Chris Bosh's peak was higher, the career, the longevity of Pau Gasol is what takes him over the top easily for me.
I get it. I understand your argument because of the longevity.
At the end of the day, you got to be a homer for the Lakers.
I wasn't talking.
I got to be the homer for the Miami Heat.
I'm not a homer for the Lakers.
You are a homer for the Lakers.
That's so clear in the fact that I had James Worthy the lowest out of any of us. I am not a homer for the Lakers. You cannot look at the lists we have done and say that I am a homer for the Lakers. You had Jerry West higher than I did. No, Will, you didn't even have Jerry West on the point guard list. You had him on the shooting guard list, so I can't say that. But I had James Worthy at 14. You had Worthy at 10. You can't call me a Lakers homer. I have been very reasonable with my takes.
No, Arman's turned more into a Celtic defender than a Lakers homer.
You guys have made me be a Celtics defender against my will.
We don't make you do anything.
You guys have waterboarded.
That is free will.
That
is free will.
You guys have waterboarded me into being a Celtic defender.
That is your free will. You can choose not to at any point you would like.
This is what the cops say too. You guys, the audience at home, they don't see what happens behind the screens. They're waterboarding me into this shit, and then they put their rankings on, and then they make me defend these dudes. Help me. I'm very concerned because I can't imagine who else he left off the list. I'm very concerned that this guy got left off the list and that he has Chris Bosh over who I have at number 11, LaMarcus Aldridge. And I'd be very concerned if he left him completely off the list.
Well, the thing about Lamar, he's not here.
You did not.
I had him as an honorable mention at like 16.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
Zach, no, dude. There's no way you guys left him off the list.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, Arman.
Maybe we did collude a little bit.
I told you.
Even on this list.
At this point, maybe we did collude a little bit.
What is wrong with you guys?
When we started this, I said I have honorable mentions. I had a feeling that somebody was going to have them on their list.
Okay, Arman.
How
but
are
you
we
left,
saying what?
You left Blake Griffin off your list, no?
Yeah.
LaMarcus Aldridge was never better than Blake Griffin.
That's not even close to true.
Yes, he is.
Even if you want to say they had a similar peak, which I would argue at their peak was true. LaMarcus Aldridge was at that peak for a longer time, on top of the fact that his regression, even when he regressed, was still better and lasted longer than Blake's regression, how fast he fell off the table.
His game was heavily based off of his jumper and his post move. So yeah, that would make sense. Blake Griffin was much more of an explosive player. But to me, Blake Griffin was the clear-cut best power forward in the league for a good 4 or 5 seasons. And at none of those seasons did I think LaMarcus Aldridge was better.
Yes.
Yes, he was. What are we
Yes, he was. Yes.
No.
What are you talking
No.
about?
Who do you think? All right. What version of LaMarcus Aldridge are you thinking of? Because Blazers LaMarcus Aldridge
The Blazers,
was also
obviously.
very good. Spurs LaMarcus Aldridge was also very
Aldridge
good.
was not good.
What are you okay, 23 points per game is not good?
It's probably his best seasons.
Okay, I wouldn't say it's his best seasons. I would still take Blazers, but 23 points per game, finished 9th in MVP voting, was a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, finished at least in the top 10 one of those years. That's just not good.
Okay, well, what about the years after that?
The year after that, 23 points per game was 21 points per game. And if you're going to argue that he fell off incredibly quickly, we're talking about age 32, age 33, LaMarcus Aldridge. So if we're comparing him to Blake Griffin fell off way quicker. His last good year, that Pistons year that was great, he was 29 years old. The season after fell off completely. Again, because of injuries, not his fault, but that's something that Blake Griffin dealt with a lot throughout his career, even in his time with the Clippers. Obviously missed his rookie season, but also had multiple seasons that were interrupted big time by injuries. LaMarcus Aldridge did not deal with the same thing to the same level. I don't even see how this is close. I can't believe you guys both left him off the list.
That is my first off the list, honorable mention.
At the end of the day, Blake was like right at the end of my list, so it was like he's right there.
It's not right there, though. It's not.
I have Blake 14. LaMarcus Aldridge was 16 for me. They're like right next to each other.
Also better than Pascal Siakam, and it's not even close.
Oh, that's not even close. We don't even have to. We don't even have to talk about that because that's obviously just him rage baiting and committing to the bit. I'm more focused on the Blake Griffin thing and the fact that he left him completely off.
I know. That is my literal honorable mention. I have two of them. I won't say the other one because you might have the other one on your list. So I'll wait.
Do you think a player in my top 10 is not on the list? Oh, I swear, I wish you would leave him off the list. I wish you guys engineered this to piss me off.
I have an honorable. I'm not saying it yet. You don't know who it is. Stop it. LaMarcus, fantastic. Realistically, should be on this list. I just keep hearing Arman say over and over and over, you have to adjust for era. So I've started to do so as we've gotten longer into these lists because Dolph Shays, Elvin Hayes probably would have been on my list too. Dolph Shays and Bob Pettit wouldn't have been on my list.
You're not adjusting for the era enough if you're going to have Kevin McHale as low as you did.
Baby steps. Baby steps.
I just, again, career for career, I think at peak, LaMarcus was better than Chris Bosh. I think career overall, he was better than Chris Bosh. And I really don't even think overall in the career it's all that close. If you're going to call those two championships the difference maker because he played alongside LeBron and D Wade.
He's a two-time NBA champion, dog.
LaMarcus Aldridge can be the focal point of a actually successful offense, which Chris Bosh never
He left
to
his
do.
best teammate in his prime, so that's on him, not on us.
A lot of guys have left to take money, and it's not like he went to a bad organization to do it. It's not like he took a bag from the Raptors, or not the Raptors, sorry, that was disrespectful. It's not like he took a bag from the Hornets, and just his career went to suffer. He went to the Spurs, the best ran organization in the league for the last 20 years. So I don't even super blame him for that. I wish he would have stayed with Dame. That would have been awesome to see. But at the end of the day, he is a guy you could run your offense through, especially in the era that he played in. I don't know if anymore, but in the era that he played in, you can run your offense through that low post, back to the basket, power forward that can be your number one scoring option and was a great defender still.
Give me the dinosaur. All right, anyways.
That take should have stayed buried in the ground like a fossil, bro. God.
Hey, man. Number 10, he never won a championship, but God, he was a monster. Chris Webber.
This is what I'm feeling. That's who Zach was talking about. That's who he left off. I hate you. You are not serious.
No.
I can't believe I've swung from the reaction I had to LaMarcus Aldridge was I thought they're going to be the biggest, and you leave Chris Webber off the list. I cannot believe.
Bro, who do you think Chris Webber was?
You got to come with a
It
reaction.
was great, but especially the dudes I have in my top 10, I would 1,000,000% take over Chris Webber if this was the case as well.
What about the top 15?
What about your top 15? You've left him completely off the list.
He was an honorable mention. He's right there.
No.
They're right at the cusp of that.
For 5 seasons, he was without a doubt, top 10 player in the league and made an otherwise irrelevant organization, the Sacramento Kings, an actual contender. Probably, and again, this is me not being a biased Laker fan. I can tell you for real, they probably should have made the NBA Finals because we know that game was probably a little rigged for the Lakers to continue that dynasty. They probably should have gone to the finals. Which, by the way, if they go to that finals, they're blowing out. I don't even remember what year that was. Was that the year the Pacers or the Sixers? Either way. Whoever's coming out of the East that year, they're blowing them out. Yeah. That was the consensus, was whoever came out of the West was going to win that finals. Be honest, none of these dudes, outside of a few that you've already said that are too low already, ever peaked as high as Chris Webber did.
Everything that you said is very factual. All reasons why I wanted to put him on this list. He had a good peak. He had a 5-year stretch where he was that guy. And like you said, Arman, you want your guy, you want to be able to take a player to be the best player on your team. But him being the best player on his team didn't go anywhere. He didn't get anywhere.
But he would. No, he did, though. He was one of the Kings were not some fluke run to the Western Conference Finals. They were the number 1 team in the league that season, or at least in the West. And the East was weak that season, so they must have been the number 1 team in the league that season. They were incredibly deep, and Chris Webber was their bona fide, undisputed best player on the team. If Tim Donahue's not the ref for that Game 7, they probably go to the NBA Finals and they win a championship.
Going back to your argument for Chris Bosh and Pau Gasol, we're talking about what actually happened. Could that have been the case? For sure. And if that's the case, we are for sure talking about Chris Webber on the list.
That circumstances is actually what happened.
How many times did he get to the Western Conference Finals?
I believe only the once.
So if we're crediting going to the Western Conference
Finals.
Okay,
he also played for the Kings, bro. It's the worst franchise.
We can't sit here and say, well, if he was on a better team or if he was this, he wasn't. That's his career. career. He had a great 5-year stretch.
It's not like it was just that 5-year stretch. The years before that, too, were very good. He was rookie of the year, and then the 4 seasons leading up to that 5-year stretch still averaged 20 points per game. We're talking about that 5-year peak where he was legitimately a top 10 player in the league. Before that, he is still like a top 20, top 15 player in the league.
He was a 5-time All-NBA player. I will give him that. As the number 1 option on the team for the Kings, which he was a great player on a bad team for the majority of his career, except for the year where they went to the Western Conference Finals.
No, they were still a good team, even if they were not getting the Western Conference Finals. They made the playoffs every season in his prime. This is not like they had a 1-year wonder Cinderella run like the Atlanta Hawks. They were a good team. You're talking about him like he's Paul Millsap, bro. This is not...
I'm not talking about him like he's Paul Millsap.
I mean, you don't have Chris Webber on your list, and you don't have Paul Millsap either. So as far as I'm concerned, they're both unranked.
All right.
So you know what?
Right. And I don't have Pascal Siakam on here either, so they must all be on the same level.
I mean, let's be
Pascal
real.
Siakam's not on this list.
Pascal Siakam's closer to Paul Millsap than he is to Chris Webber. Let's be real.
Nah.
I will give you that. I will give you that. I'll give you that.
Nah.
Chris Webber was right on the cusp for me.
Not only should he have just been on the cusp, he should have been top 10.
You should have saw that coming. Look where we're at on our list. You should have known 10 was going to be a spot.
Honestly, with how this has gone, I expected Cam to also leave him off this list because this list has been engineered to piss me off.
Like you said, we colluded to make you as angry as possible.
That's what it seems like to me, honestly. All right, number 10 is not Chris Webber for me because I respect how much he did in that 9-year stretch. I respect the peak too much to even have him at number 10. I have him higher than this. At 10, a guy that you guys have already, or at least Zach has already mentioned. I'm a little lower on him all time than most people have him just because of the things I talked about earlier. Elvin Hayes is my number 10. Scored a lot of points, but the advanced stats really say he was not all of that of a great player. He played with a better teammate in his time on the Wizards as well. So, but I would have him at least top 10. Yeah,
That's
Fair
fine.
enough.
I'm not mad at that.
Fair enough.
I'm not mad at that. Draymond I had at 11. I think this guy is a better player. Kind of the similar roles. At number 10, I have Dennis Rodman. You guys have said the name already.
Well, I said the name. Cam did not say the name yet. He still has not said Dennis
Cam has
Rodman.
not said the name.
Like I said earlier, I'm very concerned he doesn't have Dennis Rodman at all.
To me, leaving off Dennis Rodman is crazier than leaving off Chris Webber. I understand that he was the number 1 option. They didn't They didn't go anywhere. The playoffs is great, but you don't really get credit for just trying.
If you're a ring merchant, you're like minimum top 3 in Zach's eyes.
Exactly.
Okay,
He's not
gotcha.
a ring. He's not a. All right.
He's kind of a Jordan, Isaiah Thomas, David Robinson, Scottie Pippen, Joe Dumars, Kobe, and Shaq merchant. Yes.
No, but he's not just a scrub. He's not like Patty McCaw who just sat the bench on these teams and racked up rings.
It's still like a fringe. Like when it comes to Hall of Fame players, you're a ring merchant. Like you find your way on these like really great teams where all you have to do is a small linear role. And that's enough, more than enough, to push you over the edge. That's what I mean by like
Dennis
a ring
Rodman's
merchant.
role a small linear role.
Yes,
he did 2 things. He really did 2 things. They did not ask him.
He
to score
rebounded and he played on-ball defense. You know how many
He guarded
Hall
the
of Famers
best
can do
player.
both?
He guarded the best player night in
So
and
did
night out.
Kawhi Leonard. So did LeBron James. So did Dwayne Wade. So did Kobe Bryant. So did Tim Duncan. You can say that about any Hall of Famer in pretty much history, besides maybe like the Carmelos, the Lucas, who were literally traffic cones.
I appreciate you bringing up Carmelo because the argument you made why Chris Webber's not on your list does not make sense if you're going to have Carmelo in your top 10 small forwards of all time. You're talking about Chris Webber's lack of playoff success, and you had Carmelo in your top 10.
Carmelo Anthony is a way better scorer. Chris Webber's more athletic. I'll give him that. He could dunk better. He could finish at the rim better. Anywhere outside of that, I'm taking Carmelo Anthony. He's an honorable mention.
Yeah, but you have Carmelo at like,
get on the list.
What did you have Carmelo at 8? That difference cannot be there.
If the old heads are off this list, I have Chris Webber on here. I just don't have him that high.
Yeah, but I haven't even said Chris Webber yet is the thing.
I would not put Chris Webber in the top 10 power forward conversation.
I think that's easy.
Not even close.
But Cam, can I ask you, because your argument that you made, it sounds like you don't have Dennis Rodman on the list at all.
I don't have him on my list.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
But see, okay, and it's not even like I'm trying to diminish his greatness. He was great, but he did 2 things. He rebounded and he plays some defense.
Oh, but when I rank Stockton at number 13, the world's falling.
Okay,
the world's falling.
That's very different, and you know why.
Is it
That's
though?
very different, and you know why. Stockton was a point guard. Stockton was a point guard. He averaged 17 a game, and he has the most assists in NBA history. Does Dennis Rodman have the most rebounds in NBA history?
If Dennis Rodman plays for as long as John Stockton, he does.
Well, like you said, he had a longer career. He did it for a longer time.
That's true.
So I have to put him higher.
Which is obviously why I had John Stockton on my point guard list. And obviously the point guard list is much deeper. So even though I have Stockton at 13 and I had Rodman at 12, easily John Stockton is above Dennis Rodman all time. Don't get me twisted.
I ask you a question, Cam. What is Draymond Green, besides facilitating? What does he do better than Dennis Rodman?
I guess.
I think he helps run an offense better than Dennis Rodman could ever contribute to an offense, and he is just as good, if not better, of a defender. I think they're just as good. Yes.
I agree, Arman, and which is why this is a big part of why I left Rodman off the list, in my opinion, because while Rodman was great in a career sense and an all-time sense, he was a ring merchant. He played with Jordan. He played with Joe Dumars. He played with Isaiah. If you don't have 4 or 5 rings by the time you're done, what are you doing? As an individual player, Draymond is a much better player all around. Draymond can do exactly what Rodman did. I mean, Draymond is 6'5", going up against 7-footers and genuinely putting them in hell. And he's still just as good at Rodman at what he's good at.
Draymond's
and
like 6'8".
No, he's not. He's
yes,
6'5" without shoes. No, he's not. He's 6'5" without shoes.
He's listed as 6'6".
He's 6'6" with shoes on. He's 6'5" without shoes on.
Well, good thing he plays with shoes.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a prerequisite.
There's not a big gap between them. I still have Rodman over Draymond, but if Draymond, he's declining, obviously, but if he can still put the defensive impact that he's having right now for another couple of years, I would consider putting him over Dennis Rodman. The box score defensive, like when he's on the court versus off the court for the Bulls, it did not drop off that much, whereas when Draymond's not on the court for the Warriors, their defense is just abysmal. So
because they don't have anybody else. Scottie Pippen was still an all-class defender. Also, Ron Harper was a very good defender. Luke Longley was a good defender. Michael Jordan was a good defender.
That can very much go into Draymond's favor as a defender.
Right.
If you have those great defensive guys all around you, is it as hard to be a great defensive player as if you're
guarding the best player night in and night out? Absolutely.
Scottie Pippen was without a doubt guarding the best player night in, night out. If they were a wing, absolutely Scottie is guarding the best player. Rodman not on the list at all is a bit much for me, but I don't even think it's all that crazy. I really don't.
Fits my logic. I have Draymond at 13, so it's like
Weber not on the list at all is crazy. I'm actually considering between my 8 and 9. I think I value peak higher than I value longevity in more terms. And so again, this goes into me not being a homer. I still have Chris Webber above Pau Gasol. So number 9 is Pau Gasol for me. And we'll get to Chris Webber when I get there. I value the peak of Chris Webber being a top 10 player in the league for 5 years.
Clearly. You're now calling him a top 9 power forward of all time.
I don't think you know who Chris Webber was, bro.
I do know who Chris Webber is.
You can't. Don't even start because you can't say this when you also have like disrespected Clyde Drexler and Dominique, and then you go, I do know who these guys are, when you clearly just don't. If you're going to leave Chris Webber off the list, you don't know who he is.
If these old heads are off the list, he's in that range.
Can I ask you, Webber versus Stoudemire? See, that's it right there. The fact that you're considering Webber versus Stoudemire.
First off, you picked a player that I grew up watching. I'm going to take some time to think about that one.
Because there's bias involved. That's okay.
There's not bias. Amari Stoudemire was great.
Not Chris Webber level great. That's what I'm saying. But obviously, we already know your son's biases here. You had Devin Booker on the shooting guard list. You had Steve Nash as a top 4 point guard of all time.
Insane.
Don't try to cover your ass now.
By the way, at my number 9, you've already mentioned him, Elvin Hayes.
I think that's consensus. The majority would have him top 9, top 8. So I'm not mad at it. I'm a little lower on him, but
me too. And as we know, when you played back in the day, you get dropped down a couple spots.
Jim Crow basketball, yes.
More than the consensus would. I'll do my 9 and 8 because they're two guys that we've already said. And like I said, it is close, but I do give the nod to one. At 9, I do have Chris Bosh. At 8, I have Pau Gasol.
Chris Bosh.
It is close.
9 power forward of all time above Chris Webber. And
Yes,
the fact that
yes.
Chris Webber ain't even close to Chris Bosh is crazy.
Yes, I'm clear as day taking Chris Bosh over Chris Webber.
You just
Webber,
don't
for sure.
know. There are bare minimum 5 seasons of Chris Webber basketball that is better than any one season of Chris Bosh. And I would say the same for Pau Gasol too, by the way. I think Pau's longevity makes up for it a little bit to make it close. But there are just 5 straight years of Chris Webber being a better basketball player, bare minimum 5, than Chris Bosh.
I've said my reasonings for why I don't have Chris Webber on the list.
Whatever, man.
We've already talked about why Chris Bosh is what he is.
I have Chris Webber on the list. I have Chris Webber at number 8. But Cam, if you have him 10, I'm cool with that. I'm higher on him than most people, I think, so I'm okay with that. Not having him in the top 15. Get out of my face, man. Come on.
Hey, man, I adjusted for era. Bob Pettit in his era is a better player than Chris Webber.
Sure, yeah, that's fine. That's, again, not
Bob
what I'm
Shays
having
in
a
his
problem
era
with.
is a better player than Chris Webber.
Again, not what I'm having a problem with. I have a problem with Chris Bosh. I have a problem with Rodman and Draymond over Chris Webber, too. All right, Kim, what's your number 8?
I have Kevin McHale.
I'm not much higher on him. I'm a little higher, but not much higher because I have Kevin McHale at number 7.
Okay.
So that's fine. Zach put him at 12. If you played before 1990, he disrespects you and does not care about you. So, we knew.
That's not even true.
It is true. So,
It's a little true.
You played before 1990. You're basically the same exact player. Kevin McHale, Bob Pettit, Robert Horry, all the same guy. They're around the same in there. They're all jumbled up in there. Elvin Hayes too. Throw him in there.
Yeah, Cliff Hagan.
Yeah, Cliff Hagan, Kurt Rambis. All those guys.
Kurt Rambis is crazy.
All the power forwards.
Dave Debussy. All those guys.
All of them.
My number 1 is Tom Chambers, so we're good.
All right, tell me who's your number 7, Zach.
I'm going back and forth between my 6 and 7. You guys aren't gonna like this one.
Oh God.
You're not gonna like this one, which is actually crazy. Hold on. Let me look at this.
Okay.
I did a ranking that you're not going to be happy with, Arman. I just looked.
I don't know what you could do now that's going to make me unhappy, honestly. So
at number 7, I go back and forth between the two, and I honestly I probably shouldn't. I think it's a clear cut who's 7, who's 6. At number 7, I do have Arman's boy Anthony Davis.
I have the same thing. I have Anthony Davis at 7, Zach.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
That's
go.
a good thing, though.
considering you guys have the 13 lover still on your list, I don't know why you guys would think I would be upset about Anthony Davis at 7. I really don't.
I don't know. I figured that would be your number 1, so I thought you were gonna be like,
yeah, sure. Again,
when he's healthy, he's an MVP. He's the best defender. He's this. He's that.
when he is healthy,
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
when he is healthy, he is one of the best, if not the best defender in the league for his whole career. And a great offensive player, and you know this to be true, which is why you have him here at number 7. That's with the caveat of when he is healthy, which he struggled with his entire career. The Pelicans, he put up some great numbers, but again, didn't really have the playoff success because the team was not good around him. Was great with the Lakers, had that championship run, arguably on at least in the playoffs. You could argue he's the best player on that team. So I think he's earned his place in this top 7. He's at number 6 for me. We have him in the same spot as far as, if we're not considering Mr. 13. We have him in the same spot.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I don't know why you thought I would be upset about that. I feel like that's extremely reasonable.
Okay, Arman, so that's your AD's your 6. Cam, who you got at 6?
Number 13. All right, let's move on.
Why are we disrespecting Karl Malone?
Yep. Why did you do that?
I'm defending the mailman.
Why would you look?
Why are we disrespecting Karl Malone?
Nigga, you got the same fit on.
Do you want to respect Karl Malone? Do you think we should all? Are you saying you're the head of the respect Karl Malone club?
No. I'm
Zachary, respect Karl Malone Woodard. Everybody.
It's a good nickname.
Sorry, let me rephrase. Why are we disrespecting the mailman? I'm defending the mailman. Why are we disrespecting Karl Malone?
Same guy, by the way. It's the same person.
Nope. One's an alter ego. Karl Malone did the nasty stuff. The mailman didn't.
I'm not gonna lie. I had to tank his ranking, but I did not put him at a certain number.
I mean, that's just his favorite numbers. I was doing him a favor. It would have been even worse if the number was lower. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my! Ew.
Yeah, I know exactly. Ew. So why are you respecting him?
I'm defending the mailman. Why are we disrespecting Karl Malone?
What he did on the court, bruh. My goodness.
Hey, you took Rick Barry off your list because of what he said, which is valid.
Yeah, but Rick Barry's not a consensus top 3 in his position.
Yeah, Rick Barry was shooting his free throws underhanded, to be very fair.
There's a lot of guys in NBA history that should be shooting underhanded. Shaq should have tried it.
You're probably right. But Shaq could dunk through 3 people, too, so that's the difference.
And if he could shoot free throws, he would have been the best player of all time. I promise you.
All right, well, I don't have him here. I guess I respected him a little too much.
I'm defending the mailman. Why are we disrespecting Karl Malone?
So I apologize to the girl and her family.
Oh my.
I'm sorry, bro. He's a top 3 player in his position. I'm sorry.
Hey, I'm sorry about what happened to you, but he's a great player. What can I say? I'm sorry about what happened, but...
You know, do I think that it should have happened? No. I don't.
Yeah,
do I agree with it? No.
Cool, man. I'm glad you needed to clarify
Can we
that.
please stop talking about this?
At number 6, as much as it pains me, I do have to put a Phoenix Sun lower than I really, really wanted to. The round mound of rebound. Should have been an NBA champion, and he'd be a lot higher, but he's not.
Yeah, I'd say ability. If he had a championship, I'd have him number 2 on this list, without a doubt.
Ooh, no, not number 2.
He would jump to like 4.
He would be higher for sure. I would think about number 4.
This man was destroying defenses as a 6'4" power forward. Give me number 2.
I don't care about his height. That's great that he overcame that. That does not make him better than some of these other dudes just because, oh, cool, you're shorter. I do have Charles Barkley at my next rank. I have him at number 5. Same reasons. Incredible, great player. Is lower than some of these other guys just because he's not a champion as these top 5 guys are.
My number 5, Charles Barkley.
Okay, all right.
Again, pains me. Golly, I can't even stand to look at this name anymore because it hurts to go from a Phoenix Sun to a guy that kept Phoenix from having another ring. At number 5, I do have Giannis Antetokounmpo.
No. I had a feeling one of you is going to do this. Maybe both of you, honestly. I think you guys are not, again, the same thing with Shea and the same thing with Luka. You guys are not adjusting enough to what these current day players have done already in their careers. I do not think Giannis can be at number 5.
No, he's not a top 3 power forward of all time.
You can go ahead, Cam. I already know. Sounds like you're going to do it, so.
Yeah, I agree with that. Giannis, I have him at 4.
He has been a top 3 player in the league for 7 years running now. There are not that many players in the history of the league that have done that. He is an MVP, a multiple-time Defensive Player of the Year, won a championship, and had one of the most efficient entire playoff runs during that time.
Okay, all right. We don't need to talk about that. We get it. We get it. We understand what happened.
He reverse swept you guys.
We understand. Yes. Giannis dropped a 50-piece on us and then took the Larry O'Brien to Chick-fil-A and ordered 50 nuggets. Yes, I watched the live.
And I was underselling him, by the way. That's 9 straight years. 9 straight years of him being a top 10 player, 8 straight years of him being a top 3 player in the league. There are not that many guys in the history of the league that have done that. Definitely not 4 other players at this position that have done that. Outside of who we know is number 1, these other dudes did not peak as high, let's not act like it's a short amount of time. This is a long-ass time that he has been doing this, that Giannis has been doing this.
You get no hate from me for respecting current-day players. I am not mad at you having Giannis higher at all.
Look, my number 4, and honestly, I think you might have this guy number 2. I know you love this playoff run. I have Dirk Nowitzki at number 4.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
No.
Offensively did not peak as high as Giannis has. Defensively, not even close. Defensively, Giannis is one of the best defensive players in the league. Dirk was a minus on defense. Offensively, if you want to adjust for the era a little bit to adjust the scoring down, maybe you could have an argument. I still think Giannis has been more dominant. Playmaking-wise, Giannis has been more of a playmaker than Dirk Nowitzki was as well. And obviously rebounding-wise. What do you mean what? Look at his stats right now and what he's turned into. He's averaging 6.5 assists right now.
Because he has no point guard. Drew Holiday's not a playmaker. Dame was out the entire season. Dirk was playing with one of the best point guards of all time in Jason Kidd.
So are you trying to tell me Dirk Nowitzki was a better playmaker?
But the way that you're saying it is like Giannis is head and shoulders a better playmaker than Dirk.
Right now, he is. Dirk Nowitzki averaged at his most assists per game in a season was 3.5. Giannis has doubled that the past 2 seasons.
They run their offense through Giannis. Giannis brings the ball up because he can attack downhill. So he has a lot more opportunities to drive and kick because you have to collapse. You didn't have to collapse on Dirk. You had to send a double team and he was going to shoot over top of you. Should he have passed out more? Maybe. And that would have boosted his assist numbers. Giannis brings the ball up. He controls the offense because when he does come downhill, you can't stop that, which is why his scoring is better. Like James Harden said, I'm not 7 feet. I don't just get to run and jump and dunk the ball. When you're Dirk, who's not as quick, not as agile, not as athletic as Giannis, you have to find ways to be creative, which he did.
You're making my entire argument right now. He is bigger, faster, stronger, was a better playmaker because defenses had to collapse down because he was so dominant running down the paint that nobody could stop him. That is everything that I'm saying is making him a better offensive player at his peak because he has that ability to control the offense, bring the ball up, drive downhill because nobody can stop him because he's a complete dominant force, and if the defense collapses, he can kick it out. That's everything that I'm saying is making him a better offensive player. It sounds like you're penalizing him just because that's what he does versus a player that had to adjust. But you're not going to blame a guy like Shaq, whose game was entirely based on him being a dominant physical player versus a guy who had to be more skilled, who is a worse center all time overall.
I'm not penalizing him. You're saying that he's a better
That's
playmaker.
what you're trying to argue.
I'm not penalizing him. I'm telling you why he had. And is he a better playmaker? Yes. I don't think he's I don't think it's night and day. I don't think this is like a drastic that you can't run your offense through Dirk. I think you absolutely could. You wouldn't have the same efficiency. You wouldn't be the same player. But 1,000,000% I think you could. No. Also, when it comes down to it, as far as their playoff runs, yes, I think Dirk had the harder ring. I also think Dirk shows up better in bigger moments. Giannis is a great regular season player. They had a great run. Hasn't done much since in a weaker conference in the East.
Okay. Number one, Dirk Nowitzki had the one playoff run. Outside of that, he was known as a playoff choker. As the number one seed, he lost to an 8 seed, just like Giannis. But let's not act like that's the same. That was the Miami Heat who went on to the finals. I'll give you your flowers. The We Believe Warriors got bounced in the second round. Let's not act like that's the same. And let's also look at the circumstances that have made Giannis's past 3 years disappointing. They lost to a Heat team that went to the finals in the first round. And then back-to-back years, they have lost to a Pacer team who has shown themselves to be playoff risers. They got to the conference finals the year before, and then last year they got all the way to Game 7 of the finals. While at the same time, the Bucks and Giannis himself was dealing with injuries. And then last year, Damian Lillard tears his Achilles. So let's not act like Giannis is not the victim of some circumstance in that case. Giannis was also a better playmaker, as you admitted, and defensively, that is night and day.
I will give you that. Defensively, night and day. That part I can agree. I don't think that it's a crazy gap. At number 4, I have Dirk Nowitzki. I think Giannis eventually, when his career is said and done, when he has a couple more All-NBAs, which he's going to get, if he has the opportunity to win another ring, which he will not in Milwaukee, so he should have jumped ship a long time ago. I agree. I think that'll push him ahead. But as of right now, what he's done today, he's been a great player. I think Dirk was a fantastic player. Dirk was a top 3 power forward for a long time. During almost all of his career. At
the power forward position. I'm talking Giannis was a top 3 player in the league for that entire stretch. And it is still continuing, by the way.
I think he's on the cusp.
What do you it's Nikola Jokic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Giannis Antetokounmpo still.
I might take Luka Doncic. It's on the cusp.
All right, top 4 then, still applies. Top 4.
Yeah, no, I'm being semantical. I do know how you value longevity. I do know how you value peaks and valleys. Giannis has had an extended peak, and he deserves all of the flowers. He doesn't deserve that ring he has, but he deserves everything else that's come in his career. I agree. I think when it's all said and done, he will be above. But as of now, I have him 5. I have Dirk at 4.
I do think it's funny. We had all that arguing. Technically, we do have Dirk at the same spot because I had Malone all that way lower.
Let me get this out the way. Number 3, I have 13.
Okay.
He's top 3 in his position, bro. I'm sorry.
I'm defending the mailman. How are we disrespecting Karl Malone?
So you had number 3. Cam, who's your number 3?
Number 3, I have Dirk Nowitzki.
See, when we get down to this top 5, me and Cameron are locked in.
I thought
Zach's
so.
all the way over here. Me and Cameron are locked in, and you're doing your own shit, Arman. How about that?
I respect the current players too much. You guys have shown you guys do not adjust enough for what the current players have already done unless within the next 3 years they're retiring. That's fine. I value the peaks much higher, and that's why I don't have Giannis at 3. I have Kevin Garnett at 3. I still think Giannis already in his career is above Kevin Garnett because Kevin Garnett had a great peak. He was an MVP just like Giannis. He was an MVP just like Giannis, a defensive player of the year just like Giannis. But the sustained peak was not the same as Giannis's sustained peak that he has had. He had a great career and was an all-NBA level player for as long as Giannis was. He was not a top 3, top 4 player in the league for as long as Giannis has already been.
It's because he played against the best power forward of all time, man. Come on.
I'm talking about in the league. I'm not talking about the competition at the position. I'm talking about players in the league.
Yeah, but I'm saying he had to deal, like, there's no power forward competition. It's Giannis and friends.
Why are you bringing it back to power forwards in the league? I'm talking. It's spicy. I'm talking about in the league, players in the league, not power forwards. I'm talking about players in the league at that time. Okay,
but that's what I'm saying though. Like it's like
rare to have a top 3 player, top two top 3 players in the same position in the NBA.
Right,
it's rare.
Exactly.
But what you guys got to get off the at the position. I'm talking about overall players in the league.
That's what we're saying. Like we're saying it's hard to be a top 3 player if you have any player better than you at that position because it automatically bumps you down.
Well, yeah, just because that player is a better player overall, but that doesn't. When we're talking about just best players in the league, Tim Duncan playing at power forward versus center still would have Kevin Garnett at the same spot in the all-time, like in the player rankings at the time.
Sure would. I'm not sure.
So if you're saying Tim Duncan slides to play center, Kevin Garnett jumps somebody else mysteriously, that doesn't make any sense. Tim Duncan,
it changes the narrative, and you can't say,
what are we talking about?
He was a top 3 player for 10 years. Blah blah. No, he wasn't because there's a power forward better than him. If Tim Duncan played in our era, Giannis would not have been a top 3 player for 9 years.
Okay, bump him down one spot. He would still be a top 4 player for that entire stretch. But you're adding an extra player.
Kevin Garnett is.
What are you talking about? We're talking about players at the time. You keep bringing up the fact that Tim Duncan played the same position. If you slide Tim Duncan over to center, it doesn't change how good Kevin Garnett was.
It changes the narrative on his career. That's what it does.
But I'm not talking about narrative. You guys are talking about narrative. I'm evaluating them as a player, though.
You brought it up though. You said
I didn't.
Top 3, top 4. Yes, you did.
Player at the time. You keep bringing up the best player at his position. I'm not talking about best player at his position at all. I never brought that up with Giannis. Not once.
That makes up this argument. It changes where you rank him. He would be maybe top 5, top 7 player.
How does moving Tim Duncan to a different position, yet he's still playing at the same time as Kevin Garnett, move Kevin Garnett above any other players at the time? That doesn't make any sense.
Because you can't say, he's a top 3 player for 9 years. That's why he's better. If we put Tim Duncan in our era, you can't say, Giannis was a top 3 player for 9 years.
You guys are so ridiculous.
How are we ridiculous? We're using your argument against you.
That's not
echoing what you just said.
You made up an argument, and now you've changed the argument because your initial argument didn't even make sense because you said if Tim Duncan slid to a different position, somehow Kevin Garnett.
No, that's what you said. That's what you said.
No, that's what you said.
It's hard to be a top 3 player if you have any player better than you at that position.
Tim Duncan playing at power forward versus center still would have Kevin Garnett at the same spot in the player rankings.
I'm not sure it would. It changes the narrative.
And then when you realize it didn't make sense, now you said if Tim Duncan played today, if Tim Duncan played today, Giannis would be bumped down one ranking. And again, I'm evaluating them just off of what Giannis did versus what Kevin Garnett did. Kevin Garnett never was the offensive player that Giannis was. I would give him the defensive side of the ball. Kevin Garnett.
I disagree. I vehemently disagree.
Disagree in what world?
Because Kevin Garnett could do everything you're saying, and he had a jump shot as well. He was fantastic. The only difference is they never put a team around him until he was at his decline on the Celtics, where they had to gang up on Kobe and LeBron and people like that. But if you look at their careers, they're very comparable.
They are not comparable offensively at all.
Yes, they are.
They are not.
Yes, they are.
In what capacity?
This man, Kevin Garnett, was frying the entirety of Team USA with zero difficulty. And you're telling me they were not the same players offensive?
Team USA practices. Is that what we're evaluating players on now? Is Team USA practices? Yeah, congrats, man. Offensively, if we're talking points per game wise, nowhere close. Playmaking wise, nowhere close. Defensively, you can make the argument.
The pace of play was like significantly lower.
That's fair, but he did not have the gravity that Giannis does because Giannis can actually handle the ball. Kevin Garnett did not do that. He cannot play make in the same way that Giannis has. He does not attract the same gravity that Giannis does. He is not as dominant physically down low in terms of just pure athleticism as Giannis is, and Giannis has developed a jump shot the last 2 years. So that gap, even though, yes, Kevin Garnett earlier in his career had that, Giannis has developed that in the last couple of seasons.
So should Zion be better than LaMarcus Aldridge then in that case?
Is this seriously the response you want to come back with to that? Two unrelated players and Zion who can't stay healthy?
Because a player can run towards the rim really quick and demands a double team at the rim, that makes him suddenly a better player than the other player who got it off of jump shots and played just as good of defense, probably was just as good of a passer, and was a great leader.
Kevin Garnett was not as good of a passer.
This guy was so fast, so he was better because he could pass out of a double team.
If you want to look at the assist to turnover ratio, if you want to look at pure number of assists, if you want to look at the usage rate, all of that is going to be in favor of Giannis. So if you want to just argue off of your headcanon who was the better playmaker and it's arguably close, that's fine. It's actually not close at all. Giannis is a much better playmaker. He has much more gravity. He is a better
scorer.
He's
a great passer. But like Zach also said, he never has a point guard. He never has a point guard. Not that does that.
So are you saying Kevin Garnett?
Rajon Rondo caliber.
Yeah, Okay, so is Kevin Garnett getting afforded Rajon Rondo to his benefit all time? No, it took that to win a championship, whereas Giannis, as the bona fide, not even close, best player on the team, got a finals MVP, which Kevin Garnett does not have because Paul Pierce won the finals MVP, did it without the point guard that you're talking about, and won a championship in one of the most dominant fashions that we've ever seen.
Jrue Holiday was a great player, but what I'm saying is his strengths was never playmaking and running an offense.
Because of that, Giannis is a worse player because he had to do more? Is that
it just gives him
it just doesn't make him automatically better than another really great player
because the offensive load relied on him, and he still has made good offenses even though he has more responsibilities.
You're changing the argument though.
That's your argument though. What is your argument then?
We're talking about playmaking responsibilities. We're saying Giannis never really had a dominant playmaking player next to him. He's always had a shooter, defender.
So the offensive load and the reliability to be the main facilitator and be the main focal point of the offense lied on his shoulders, and he still led them to a championship. And that makes him worse because of it?
It doesn't make him worse, but it doesn't necessarily make him better. I think that's just context of how his offense and how his system ran based upon his strengths.
And his strengths were being a player who was more dominant athletically, getting to the rim and collapsing the defense. And when the defense collapses, because of his physical abilities, he could play make for his teammates. You're making the argument, again, that's the same way Zach did earlier. You're making the argument for me why he's a better player, and yet you're saying that somehow that makes him worse.
Kevin Garnett was just as dominant of an offensive player. Nope. He just was different.
He was not as dominant of an offensive player.
Yes, he was.
No,
bro.
He wasn't. In what way?
Okay, he wasn't. He wasn't.
Because his top points per game was 24 points per game, which was 7 points per game less than Giannis has done.
It's slower pace. And also,
it was a slower pace offense.
Kevin Garnett was way better back to the basket. His mid-range was money. He had one of the best mid-ranges in the league.
True.
He was a fantastic defender. He was a great ball handler as well. You never really saw him turning the ball over. So even though he didn't average 6 assists like you keep quoting, he was still a great playmaker. He just had good playmakers next to him. So he didn't have to average 6 assists a game. That's the difference. That's the difference we're talking about. Kevin Garnett first had fucking Sam Cassell. I get these ball guys I get these light-skinned bald guys mixed up. And then he had Rajon Rondo, so he didn't average 6 assists a game. That's just kind of how the cookie crumbled. But that doesn't necessarily make Giannis automatically a better playmaker, as well as the fact that he was a heavy rim attacking player for most of his career. Any guy who can get to the rim really well and can make an outlet pass will average 5 assists a game. That's just kind of like how basketball works.
Yeah, so why is that a bad thing if you're using your athleticism and physical gifts to your advantage?
We're not penalizing him for.
But that's his only argument against Giannis is that because he was able to do more physically than Kevin Garnett, that it's not fair, apparently.
The way he played made it conducive to him to get more assists. But we're saying as a pure passer, vision, playmaker, he's not necessarily better just because he averaged a few more assists. We're not saying Giannis is a bad playmaker. That's not what we're saying. We're saying he was a good playmaker, but Kevin Garnett was also a great playmaker. He averaged more because of his play style and the way basketball works, which is if you're good at getting to the rim, people are going to collapse on you. Then what do? You make the outlet pass. You make the easy pass. That's all we're saying.
If you want to argue at his peak, they were similar level, adjusting for the pace of play, similar level playmakers, similar level offensively. That's fine. Kevin Garnett's peak did not last as long as Giannis's peak did. If you want to argue for maybe a 5-year stretch, he is a guy that was a bona fide top 5 player in the league, was the focal point of an offense, was one of the best offensive players and could play make, and was a great defensive player as well. That's true. Giannis's peak has already been longer. The playoff success, even if it was just one run and the other runs he has had bad luck, he still did more in that one run than Kevin Garnett did in his run in 2008. I would absolutely take Giannis all time, and I have Giannis at number 2. Obviously, I don't even know if you guys have gotten around to saying you're number 3, but that's evident, obviously. So,
Cam, did you say you're number 3 already?
No. Actually, I think I did. I think I said it was Dirk, and then that's when we got to arguing because he knew my number 2 was Kevin Garnett.
Yeah, my number 2 also will be Kevin Garnett. I mean, and all the drama that we are waiting for. My number 1, Amar'e Stoudemire. I mean,
that's good.
It's Amar'e Stoudemire. When we talk about 7 seconds or less Phoenix Suns, I mean, yeah, granted, Nash was the front runner, but that team ain't shit without Amar'e Stoudemire. That's why I have Amar'e Stoudemire at 1. I mean, I think we all kind of saw this one coming.
Totally.
Obvious.
Yeah. Okay, can you give your actual number 1 now?
Yeah. I mean, my actual number 1, of course, the big fundamental and better all time than Kobe Bryant.
He's not better all time than Kobe. That's a different conversation. Tim Duncan is number 1. Tim Duncan is number 1. Cam, can you say your number 1, please?
My number 1 is actually Bam Adebayo.
It's not even a power forward. What are you talking about?
Nah, my number 1 is Tim Duncan.
We can talk about the Tim Duncan and Kobe thing. We will do an all-time player rankings because I've been kind of building it out as we've been going through these, because these conversations have been helping me solidify what I actually think of these players all time. So we will do that list in the future. But yeah, we can put that out there now. I have Kobe above Tim Duncan. And
no, you do not.
I will die on that hill.
You do not.
Obviously I do. No. So you don't got to tell me what I do and don't have. You ain't got to tell me what isn't a bad rank. You didn't even have Chris Webber on this list. So I don't really got to listen to you on your shit. So.
He's not a... All right. He's not a consensus.
You guys are some blasphemous.
We will get to that later down the line. However, we will first, of course, be doing the final video in this series, the top 15 centers of all time. So go hit that subscribe button if you want to see that video. As soon as it comes out, you'll get that notification. If you hit that bell, make sure to like the video if you want to see more content like this from us. It really helps us out, and it really helps us out if you comment. So if you stayed this late, make sure to comment. Make sure to comment. For sure, Pascal Siakam is top 15 all time. I think Cam would appreciate it.
Solidified.
Yeah,
solidified.
I'm talking players too. I'm talking players all time. Pascal Siakam. So
yeah.
So go ahead, comment that down below. Join the Discord if you want to be part of the community, and we will be putting up polls there on who had the best list. So go let us know in the Discord who had the best list, and I already know you'll be voting for me, so I appreciate it. Thank you, preemptive. Thank you, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Peace.
Peace.
Oh, my baby!